Yo, it's Luke. I want to talk about why I decided to quit weed, how I did that, and what's come of doing so. So, for like an introduction, I didn't have contact with any sort of substance until I went to college, and at the age of I guess I was 18. So I'd only taken like a few sips of alcohol and drank some coffee. Until then, I considered those to be drugs. I drink coffee every day, all day. Don't really have a problem with coffee, or at least like to tell myself that. But anyway, with weed, right off the bat, I had a huge problem with it. I was in, a major I didn't fully like. And because I found weed, it gave me like this outlet to suppress my feelings. And I dropped my major, I dropped other classes my first semester, and, I kind of effed it all up. And then, I went to a different school after that, started smoking again. I was in like the worst depression of my life for like the first, I'd say, year and a half of college. Like my lowest point emotionally. Like I had no idea how to get out of it. And I just went through these cycles in life for the past, I guess it would have been around 5 years now, of smoking for a few months and then not smoking, and then being like, fuck it, I think I can figure out how to smoke in moderation. And then as soon as I smoked for like 1 or 2 days, it was just, almost every single day, or at least night. And the weird thing for me is that when I looked at myself compared to other people who I knew or know who smoked, I was smoking a fraction, like a tiny fraction of what they smoked per day. So that reinforced in my mind, like, oh, well, I don't really have like a problem with it because I'm not smoking that much. But now, and I've realized this a couple times in these cycles I'm talking about, if that tiny amount of weed gives me a problem, then I obviously have a problem, if that makes sense. So the problems I encounter with weed is like, emotional numbing. At first, there's this weird thing about weed for me and a lot of other people who I've talked to, where at first it gives you all these benefits, and then you continue to use it, regularly, and then it's like it flips those benefits upside down. It's really strange. Like at first it was helping me sleep, it was helping me feel my emotions really deeply. It was helping me with like ADHD type stuff, like just keeping focus, staying on task. And then a few months in, everything flipped upside down. Suddenly, like, I'm having trouble sleeping, I'm having trouble staying focused, I'm having trouble feeling emotions, and all of those things have really drastic downstream effects. And it took one of my loved ones, to tell me, like, you can't be doing this, you have a problem with it. Even if it's not as bad as it once was, you still can't be doing this to yourself. It's not really benefiting you. And I was like, you're right. And I didn't want to admit it because it's like, weed is cool, man. Like, I want to smoke. It makes me like chill, blah, blah, blah. I'm like big into rock climbing and mountain biking and art. And like, there's a lot of, weed users in those communities. And I was like, this helps me like be really chill within these communities. But kind of didn't. It actually pulled me out socially. I was like socially distant. Again, at first with weed, it's like, wow, I can like really have a lot of social confidence. And then pretty soon, all that social confidence just went away. And I'm like, talking to people who normally I have no problem talking to, because backstory, like I did used to have huge social anxiety, really low confidence in talking to anybody, and I started to feel a hint of that again with continued use of weed. And that's like one of the signs, besides somebody telling me like, hey, you gotta stop, that told me like, hey, I gotta stop, is if I can't be present, if I feel like I'm in this fog when I'm talking to people who I care about and who care about me, then it's obviously not beneficial. And yeah, like if anything does that to you, you really probably shouldn't be using it. Like that's how I feel about alcohol. It's a different feeling, very different drug. Like to me, alcohol and weed are on like different ends of the drug spectrum, but with the same thing with alcohol. It makes you feel like you're like really there or something, but you're really not. So how did I stop? I just stopped and I threw my shit away, which was a sad moment because I got real attached to like my bowl, my grinder. They're beautiful pieces of art, and it's weird when you have like friends who are deep into cannabis, and I'm not like trying to talk shit on them at all. It's just that's something that's in their life, and that's cool, because it's difficult when you have people you care about who are deeply invested in cannabis, and what happens is either they're going to respect that you don't want to use weed, or they're just going to fade out of your life. And it is what it is, and it kind of sucks to lose connections, but at the same time there's probably twice more connections around the corner with people who are more supportive of your goals in life, to like stay sober, or just to respect your decision that you don't want to use cannabis. Because there's people I know who will like send me videos or pictures of their like the new weed that they got or whatever, and it's like I honestly don't really care. Like it's also, you got to remove temptation. If you really have a lot of trouble quitting something that you got to quit, you've got to remove the temptation of it from your life. Like if you're trying to quit alcohol, you wouldn't go to the bar. So if you're trying to quit smoking cannabis, you wouldn't hang out with your friend who's smoking cannabis. Now for me, I do think that I have the willpower. I think I have the willpower to hang out with a friend who smokes, as long as they completely respect that I don't want to effing smoke. Every time I've begun using weed again, it wasn't because someone wanted me to or peer pressured me into doing it. It was always like, like me thinking to myself, like, maybe I can smoke with moderation, with some control this time. So you got to make sure that your homies support you, even if they smoke. You got to make sure that they support your goals. This guy just went through a red light. Maybe he's high. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, and if you're realizing maybe I do have a problem with weed, like if it's impeding on your life, like any things I mentioned, ability to be present in conversation, ability to feel your emotions, ability to sleep, ability to, like, another thing was like I realized, like I'm really I mentioned rock climbing. I'm really into physical activities, like just lifting, rock climbing, mountain biking. I didn't really want to go as hard or do those things at all on some days, even when I was smoking. Like it makes you feel heavy, and I would just end up chilling and like watching YouTube for hours and not really getting anything done. Like maybe here and there I'd come across a video that gave me some cool information, like learn some stuff, but if that's what you're doing all the time, it's really not productive. And I fell into that. So you just gotta know what's good for you and go after that. And if weed is not good for you, stop fucking going after it. Get it out of your life and you'll feel 10 million times better.